Coming up on Citrus TV News Live at 6, which rock star is coming to the Dome next year?
And which campus building is getting renovated?
And an American classic gets a modern twist.
All that and more. Citrus TV News starts right now.
Welcome and thank you for joining us on Citrus TV News Live at 6. Today is Monday, December 1st. I'm Brian Cheung.
And I'm Nick Cardona. Can't believe it's already December. Wow, the protests that shook the nation following the Ferguson came to campus today, and that is our top story tonight.
To be moving, we wanted to attract attention, and we wanted to be loud because we're really frustrated just about the series of unarmed police killings. Any injustice done to any person is an injustice to everyone. And so we were very proud and very happy to see a very multicultural crowd. This was not just an all-black student movement. There were faces from every background and nationality here, and that's what Syracuse University is about.
And well, that was the scene on campus this afternoon as more than 100 SU students marched for Mike Brown. The march began at 1:01 p.m., the exact time the 18-year-old was shot in Ferguson, Missouri in August.
Students began their march on the steps of Hendricks Chapel before heading to Marshall Street. As they marched, they shouted chants like "In Syracuse and Ferguson, Black Lives Matter," and "Hands up, don't shoot." Now,
last Monday, a grand jury decided not to indict police officer Darren Wilson for shooting the Ferguson teen, sparking protests all over the country.
One SU protester, Danielle Reed, spoke with us about the march.
Ho, ho, those racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, those racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey.
And sophomore Roshan Meeks is here to talk to us a little bit today about what's been going on campus in response to the Ferguson issues. Now, tell us a little bit about what's been going on today, specifically what's been going on the Hill and that march, and what's been going on in Shine.
Absolutely. Well, on the Hill and specifically in Shine, what we're doing is encouraging ourselves to be heard, not just the movement, but some of the injustices that have been occurring. I think that it's important that what we do and what we have done in Shine is to, allow for an arena, an open space for dialogue. So what happened in Shine today, a group of students from Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated laid down in the same position that the young man, Michael Brown, laid in for 4.5 hours, just to signify that, that there are some injustices that are going on, and students, including in the march, are willing to do whatever to make sure that those injustices are eradicated.
So what happens next after this? After you've marched across campus, I saw some of that myself today. And what's the next step for this movement? What's the next step for you guys?
Definitely to continue the same dialogue, and also to try to push some type of policy that not only encourages diversity but encourages some type of honesty, right? So to have a board of students that kind of oversee and act as a liaison between the student body and as administration. I know that we already have that, but it's only 2 students. We want to make sure that it's more than just 2 students. We want to make sure that it's like 10, 15, why not 50?
All right, Rashad Meeks, thanks so much.
Thank you. And Auto-Tunes will perform at the Radio City Music Hall in New York City. The group was invited to perform as part of the pre-show for the annual Radio City Christmas Spectacular. The group will join other collegiate a cappella groups from around the country. The pre-shows span over a period of 3 weeks, but Auto-Tunes will perform on December 14th.
And students have been asked to join the advisory board for student affairs after staff members have been seeking ways to include student input. The students selected will be tasked with providing insight on student life issues. Nominations were received by Student Affairs, the Student Association, and the Graduation Student Association. Students were also allowed to apply for a representative position.
And the Syracuse Police Department received a mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle today as part of an initiative by the federal government to give surplus military equipment in over 120 local agencies. The MRAP is a $658,000 armored vehicle designed to withstand improvised explosive device or IED attacks. According to the police department, the MRAP is needed to protect officers under fire and to rescue citizens in high-risk situations, but will not be used for crowd control.
And the general body is moving forward with its second phase. The group will meet this week to make plans on how they would like to move forward. As part of the next stage, the group has not ruled out staging another sit-in. During the 18-day sit-in last month, SU administrators spent time balancing their day-to-day responsibilities and negotiating with the general body. And now earlier today, Syracuse University announced that Billy Joel will be performing in the Dome March 20th of next year. This will be the singer's 7th performance at SU, setting the record for the most concerts by a single performer at the Dome.
More than 38,000 tickets are available for purchase, and the show is expected to sell out. The last time Joel performed at the Dome was in 2006, where he received an honorary doctorate from SU.
And
2015, the Carrier Dome and Syracuse University are thrilled to once again welcome the legendary Billy Joel.
And coming up after the break, expect some changes in an SU building next semester.
And an update about Ferguson.
Protests erupt in Hong Kong.
All that and more after the break.
It's beginning to feel a lot like winter. Temperatures felt like they were in the high 20s today with gusts of wind up to 23 miles per hour. Find out if we're expecting more chilly weather throughout the rest of our week during your full final 5-day forecast of the semester. Citrus TV News live at 6. We'll be right back.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
We are different. Society should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at ActionHeroAlliance.com.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. One of the oldest buildings on campus will be renovated this summer. Citrus TV News reporter Jonathan Olins has the details on which building and what will take place.
As part of ongoing renovations to the Syracuse University campus, Huntington Beard Krause will be renovated this summer. The renovation to HBC will focus on several key components, specifically accessibility and general maintenance. According to Joseph Alfieri, the project manager, one of the improvements will be the modernization to the elevator to allow better access throughout the building.
First, there's the modernization replacement of the existing elevator, which will be replaced to allow for the elevator to reach the Gifford Auditorium level.
A model of the improvement to the elevator is currently in the lobby of HBC. In addition to the modernization and improved accessibility to the elevator, Kittredge will be expanded, with expansion to the auditorium will be brought to code.
The Kittredge Auditorium will be expanded and brought to current codes. That will include accessible seating, that will include new technology, AV technology to include listening devices.
The general improvements to the building include a ramp that will allow access to the lower level restroom, upgrades to current restrooms including the addition of a unisex single occupant restroom, and new lighting and flooring in the public spaces on the lower level. Next presentation on the renovation to the building will take place tomorrow, December 2nd at noon in Hall of Languages, room 500. Reporting on Syracuse University campus, Jonathan Olins, Citrus TV News.
And Darren Wilson, the officer who shot and killed Michael Brown, resigned from the Ferguson Police Department this weekend following the grand jury decision not to indict him. Wilson immediately turned in his resignation following a string of threats to the department, other officers, and himself. The city has since severed ties with Wilson, and he will not be receiving any sort of severance package or benefits from the department. Wilson's attorney says that he has no plans to leave the country. Meanwhile, the Brown family is hoping a Justice Department investigation will bring federal charges against Wilson. And the Monday after Thanksgiving marks the latest trend in holiday shopping, Cyber Monday. The online shopping holiday is expected to draw 127 million people to various web retailers, which is 5 million fewer people than last year. This year's Black Friday also experienced a decrease in shoppers by about 11%. The National Retail Federation says the decline could be the result of consumers feeling better about the economy and less frantic about chasing deals. And on Sunday, the body of 22-year-old Ohio State University defensive lineman and wrestler Costa George was found with a handgun in a dumpster in Columbus after missing for 5 days. The Ohio State University Department of Athletics stated that they were shocked and saddened by his death and is lamenting for George's family during this time. George's mother, Susan George, told NBC affiliate WCMH that her son used to suffer from concussions and spells of confusion. Just before he went missing, George sent a text to his mother apologizing for being an embarrassment for his medical condition.
And today on the 26th World AIDS Day, people around the world are joining forces to display support for those fighting against the AIDS virus and those who died from the disease. According to reports, there are an estimated 34 million people currently living with HIV, the virus that causes AIDS, and more than 35 million have died from the disease. This year's theme is Focus, Partner, Achieve, an AIDS-free generation. The day's events include a commemoration ceremony by the White House, the AIDS Healthcare Foundation will hold testing events, and a motivating speech by former Playboy Playmate Rebecca Armstrong, who is currently living with HIV. And early this morning, pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong reached a violent high as student demonstrators had intense clashes with the police after 2 months of stalemate. Thousands of protesters attempted to block access to the government headquarters and clashed with police after storming a main road, bringing traffic to a halt. Police responded with liberal use of batons and pepper spray and forced protesters to the ground to make arrests. Overall, the night marked a major reversal from the nonviolent protests the students had organized for months. And yesterday, the head of the UN Ebola mission in West Africa stated that there is still a huge risk of the Ebola outbreak expanding beyond the African region. The UN mission says the longer the disease remains in West Africa, the more likely it is that the virus will spread once again around the world. Currently, Ebola is continuing to dominate Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone, as it has already killed almost 7,000 people.
And when we come back, your weather for the week.
And Ray Rice's wife speaks out.
And which film snatched this weekend's box office?
Stay tuned.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. As a parent, you want to make sure that your child knows how to deal with bullying when they see it happening. And chances are they want to help, but they don't really know how. Teach them that the best thing to do is calmly walk away, find a teacher or other adult, and speak up. And do your part. Be that adult they can talk to and trust will listen. Join me to help stop bullying. Go to stopbullying.gov to find out more.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but we don't know if that's going to stay. We have Chief Weather Anchor Rachel Wolski here to tell us about what the cold and windy weather is going to stay here in Syracuse. Rachel, what's going on?
Today definitely wasn't the best of days in Syracuse. It was definitely a little cold and frigid. I should have broke out my winter coat today, but unfortunately I didn't. But currently it's 36 degrees, mostly cloudy, definitely a little bit windy. We are seeing gusts up to 23 miles an hour. Winds are coming from the west-northwest at 21, a humidity of 59%, so it's right in the middle range right there. Nothing too serious. High of 37 today, not too high today. We're definitely starting to feel those winter temperatures, and we're going to see a low a little bit later of 20, but it feels more like 25 than that 36 right now, so about a 10-degree difference, which is kind of unfortunate. But if we take a look at tonight, we are going to see that low of 20 degrees. There is only a 10% chance of precipitation, but we may see some scattered snowstorms later on this evening. A few clouds tonight, maybe throughout the night, but it's going to be mostly, the moon's going to be out, so it's going to definitely be pretty bright. Winds are kind of going to be coming from the north-northwest at 13 miles an hour. We take a look at the current temperature. Syracuse is at 36. All around New York right now, it's pretty similar. Buffalo's a little bit lower at 32. They're probably experiencing a little bit more precipitation than we are over the last few weeks as well. Albany's a little bit higher at 40, but with that wind chill, the temperatures are feeling like they're in the 20s. And we take a look at the current surface map. Clearly, Syracuse doesn't have any precipitation over it right now, which is why we had fairly clear skies today, maybe a little bit of clouds, but nothing too serious. This cold front came over us earlier, which is why we were feeling that pretty frosty wind chill for the most of the day. It's definitely very cold and very breezy, so people were definitely shivering for a majority of the day. And we're going to take a look at the winds. Winds from 10 to 20 miles an hour in our area, not too bad. They're starting, the sources up here in Canada, and it could be moving down to us later this week, which is going to bring maybe windier weather along with some precipitation and colder temperatures. And we take a look at this 5-day forecast. Tomorrow we're expecting a 50% chance of snow, high of 37, low of 32. Wednesday, that's going to it's going to warm up a little bit into rain, temperature of 45, some snow, a little bit of rain, and the rest of the week's going to clear up a little bit. Thursday and Friday, excuse me, it's going to be partly cloudy skies. Chance of precipitation on Friday, but Saturday we are going to see a little bit of rain and snow again. So unfortunately, it's not going to be the nicest of weeks here in Syracuse.
Now tell me a little bit, Rachel, I know that you said that there's going to be some rain, but as those temperatures dip down into below 30s, below freezing at nighttime, can we expect that snow to stick on the ground and accumulate?
Well, the ground is starting to freeze. We are seeing consistently cold temperatures, so that ground is kind of frozen and everything, but if it does warm up again, it may not stick, but if it goes down and then refreezes, it's probably going to be more ice rather than snow, unfortunately.
But when the sun comes back up the day after, can we expect that ice to maybe melt, or is that something that could turn into black ice if the temperatures stay low?
I think if the sun comes out enough and the temperatures warm up enough, the black ice will melt, but unfortunately, if the sun's out but the temperatures are still cold, it's probably going to stay, and it's going to be a little bit dangerous when you're walking outside.
Okay, Chief Weather Anchor Rachel Wolski, thank you so much.
Of course.
Now let's send it over to Nick for our ICYMI segment to fill you in on all the tech news, entertainment buzz, and important cultural stories that you may have missed from the weekend. Nick, what's going on?
Hey, Brian. Several football players on the St. Louis Rams expressed their support for Mike Brown on Sunday. 5 players entered the Edward Jones Dome displaying the hands up, don't shoot pose, a symbol that has become synonymous with the Ferguson protesters. Many are calling for them to be fined or otherwise punished, though the NFL hasn't taken any action yet. And Ray Rice's wife has spoken out on his behalf on national television in an emotional interview on the Today Show. Janae Rice shared how the hardest part of the entire catastrophe was being thrust into the public eye in such a negative light. Janae pleaded on her husband's behalf, stating that he was honest through the whole process and there have been no further instances of abuse. To wrap up the first segment of Janae's interview, she focused on the fact that he is a football player and the Football League should remember that and separate previous events from his ability to play ball. Now at Amazon, workers weighing 320 pounds but just 16 inches tall are hard at work this holiday season across the country, but these squat workers aren't human or even Christmas elves. They are robots. Amazon is now using robots made by Kiva Systems, a company Amazon purchased for $775 million to ship hundreds of goods made every second. The robots bring shelves of goods out of storage and hand them to employees, which increases efficiency and saves time. Amazon started using the robots this past last July and now have more than 15,000 of them in 10 of its warehouses, providing great success. Baby Santa's workshop might be laying out some of the elves in the future. Now, Girl Scout cookies have entered the 21st century and gone digital for the first time in over a century. Girl Scout cookies will be available online and through mobile app platforms. Mobile apps and personalized websites, first approved by the parents of Girl Scouts, will provide extreme accessibility to the cookies, a predicted increase in sales, and wait for it, cookies shipped directly to your doorstep. No more relying on those adolescent youth of America to remember to stop by and drop off your cookies. Technology has answered our prayers once again. And Mockingjay took home the gold this past Thanksgiving weekend. Jennifer Lawrence and her band of rebels estimated a well-earned $83 million throughout the 5-day Thanksgiving holiday, on top of $57 million for the 3-day weekend. On record, that is the third highest 5-day holiday revenue in history. The third of 4 Hunger Game movies trampled its competition, Penguins of Madagascar and Horrible Bosses 2. Lionsgate has a lot to be thankful for this weekend.
And what do Georgetown, Boston College, and South Carolina have in common? They all got a taste of orange this weekend. Sports is next here on Citrus TV.
I think someone at my friend's school has this thing called autism. My friend's brother's son has autism. My neighbor's son has autism. My son has autism.
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 88 children is diagnosed with autism. That's a 1,000% increase in the last 40 years. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Today, about 1 in 5 Americans is living with a disability. Over 50 million people, including many of our friends and neighbors, teachers and co-workers, heroes and leaders. 20 years ago, the Americans with Disabilities Act guaranteed every person the right to live, work, and participate fully in the American experience. We've come a long way since then, and we are committed to making even more progress in the years ahead. Visit disability.gov to see how you can help.
There is no credit fairy.
How else will I get a better credit score?
Look, you keep your credit card balances low and only open a new card if you really need it.
No fairy?
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there's help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans. These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids. Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. So is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
At one point this season, the SU men's soccer team was #1 in the country, but that was then, and on Sunday, all that matters was their matchup against Georgetown to continue on in the NCAA tournament. The #9 Orange hit the road to the nation's capital to face the #8 Hoyas. Now let's head to the highlights. Alex Bono, 4 saves on the day, getting pumped up, but we head to the second half. Julian Busher with a nice pass to Alex Hallis. He finishes off SU up 1-0. And here, off a turnover by the Hoyas, Chris Nanko, chance for insurance, but he doesn't get it in. Georgetown would score, and then we'd head to overtime. And with just over 3 minutes to go, Tyler Rudy crosses it perfect to Jared Rist, puts it past Bono. Syracuse loses 2-1 out of the NCAA tournament. Now we head to the gridiron to Boston College. Boston College honoring Doug Flutie after his Hail Mary. Here we go to the third quarter. A.J. Long right to Boston College. And then on the next play, John Hillman, 7-yard touchdown run. This would put BC up 21-7. And then we fast forward fourth quarter. Tyler Rouse, 42-yard run for Boston College. This guy's from Baldwinsville, and Syracuse didn't have enough to offer him a scholarship. BC went on to win 28-7. And here's Coach Schaefer after the game, to the last game of the season.
Uncontrollables is what we call them, and you can't control. You know, when you have a lot of injuries and things go wrong, you know, you learn a lot about yourselves. And the thing I'm most proud of this team is they've stayed tight-knit group, close group of young men that'll appreciate each other for the rest of their lives.
Welcomed Holy Cross to the Dome on Saturday. It was all SU from the tip. Freshman Chris McCullough continued to impress. 14 points, 13 rebounds for the freshman. And Rakeem Christmas also had himself a day. Career high 25 points, just like his number, 8 rebounds, and it's his birthday today. Perfect birthday gift for him. Caleb Joseph also added to the scoring party. 14 points, 6 assists. SU wins 72-48. Faces a big test tomorrow as Syracuse goes to Ann Arbor to face Michigan in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. And while most people went home for Thanksgiving break, the SU women's basketball team head to the Bahamas for the Junkanoo Jam tournament. And in the championship game Friday, number 24 Orange faced the number 1 team in the country, South Carolina. They lived up to the test, out-rebounded the Gamecocks 50-35. They even led by 10 points with just a little over 7 minutes to go, but South Carolina pulled away on an 11-0 run, made shots down the stretch, and the Orange fell 67-63. The pair of Briannas led the way for SU. Butler had 18, and Day posted 13 points and 17 rebounds for the Orange. And to the NFL, Bills back home after having to play in Detroit last week because of all the snow. They need every win they can get to keep their playoff hopes alive for the first time since 1999. And let's see what they got against the Browns. Bills honoring Jim Kelly, but here we go. Kyle Orton to Chris Hogan, Bills up 17-3. And then 4 seconds later on the game clock, Terrence West fumbles. Jerry Hughes picks it up into the end zone, steals all the momentum away for the Bills. They go up 14-3. But what do we have? A Manziel sighting, his first career touchdown for the Browns. 10 yards rushing. Throw up those money signs, Manziel. But the Bills would go on to win 26-10.
Now tell me a little bit about that game that we're looking for tomorrow against Michigan. What are the keys to the game?
Syracuse is going to have to keep going on the offensive end. Rakeem Christmas, it's going to be a big test for him. He hasn't really played such competition as Michigan, so we're going to see if his scoring continues.
Carly, thank you so much. Okay. We'll be right back with tomorrow's weather. Stay tuned.
How you doing? My name's Steve. My family's lived in this neighborhood for years. Recently, things got so tight, we had to go to our local food bank for help. I lost a lot of sleep worrying about what the neighbors might think. That is until I saw them there, too. How'd I do, Steve?
A little stiff. You could have done a little better.
What? Come on. You know, I have an Academy Award.
Yeah, but not for playing me.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
All right, we're back now with Rachel Wolski. Rachel, what are we wearing tomorrow?
Well, it's supposed to snow tomorrow, so you're definitely going to break out the snow boots, the winter jacket, warm pants, and a nice long sleeve shirt, and you should be good.
All right, thanks, Rachel, so much.
Absolutely.
Now, Nick, how much do you think a partridge in a pear tree costs?
Well, I bought one for my apartment yesterday. It was about $300.
Well, that's very close, but according to the 31st Annual PNC Wealth Management Christmas Price Index, that would actually be $208.
Well, actually, most items in the carol, the 12 Days of Christmas, saw little to no increase from last year. 2 turtle doves still cost $125, and 8 maids of milking are still at $58.
All I hope for is Taylor Swift's 1989 under my Christmas tree this Christmas.
Well, I mean, I can bring a copy of it. Yeah,
and that'll do it for us today and for the rest of the semester for the Monday newscast here at Citrus TV. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Have a good night.